guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Artistic Stacy. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a poster paint tutorial, which is a highly requested tutorial from my friends, and I thought maybe it can also help other people how to use poster paint. The reason why I'm making this video is because there is an overwhelming amount of poster paint plates in Cfad, and now that I'm currently a first year advertising art student in Cfad, I thought that maybe there are some freshmen or freshies that want to know how to use poster paint, because when you get into Cfad, you're going to be using poster paint a lot. So I want to give all of my advice and the tips that I have after the many months that I've been using poster paint. It is actually my favorite medium to use whenever I do my plates, and wala naman kaming choice kasi yun naman talaga palaging pinapaghamit. A little bit of backstory. You can skip to this timestamp if you guys want to go to the tutorial already. But I actually asked one of my professors why we use poster paint a lot, and it's because it's actually the fastest drying medium. And sa mga napansin ko, it's actually kind of the industry standard at this point. If you've watched mga speed paint ng mga Ghibli artists, Hayao Miyazaki, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he uses poster paint, and it's like the very high-end professional poster paint ng mga malalaking tube na ganito. But yeah, I'll be giving you guys all of my advice, brands, how to mix, how to paint, etc. So yun na, let's get started. Before we jump into the tips, first let's tackle supplies. So I'll be showing you guys my poster paint collection and the things that I use to create my plates. First, let's go with palette. So I go with these types of palettes. Why? Because if you have some premix na colors na gusto mo, you can already premix them in the palette and it's not hard. Pwede naman din ganito, obviously. But kapag may ganito ka, parang, you know, you can have your own type of like color palette or color scheme that you always go to. And plus, mas madali. If you want a color that you want to use over and over again, you can just get from here. For example, I premix this peach color skin tone. So I use it all the time, and I just kind of get paint from here, put it down here, and I can mix other skin tones. So that's what I use. White. So you're gonna be using a lot of white. Ang dami kong white actually. Oh, by the way, brands. Let's talk brands. Yung damit ko is Pentel, Colleen, and Dong-A. Dong-A and Colleen, it ranges from 30 to 70 pesos each tub na ganito. Of course, depende yon. Depende sa laki ng tub, obviously. Alam ko yung mga maliliit na tub na ganito, they're like, basta mura sila. Okay, basta mura sila. I think mas pricier yung Colleen kesa sa Dong-A. Okay? If white, ito yung pinakang recommend ko. Okay, if you guys want very vibrant colors in your palette, I really recommend a teal or like this cyan type of blue and a pink, a very bright pink. Why? Because napansin nyo, when you mix red and blue together, it doesn't really create a bright type of purple. If you want yung mga bright na purple, you guys need this. If you want yung mga ganitong type of purple, mga ganyan, or yung mga ganitong type of pink, you're not gonna get that with red. You need a bright, as in bright na pink, parang neon pink. The pinks that I have, meron siyang cool toned na pink, and meron tayong warm toned na pink. What I mean by cool toned and warm toned, if you look here, wala ganong difference on the camera, but if you look at them in person, etong pink na to, it's more like a very vibrant, like neon pink. Etong pink naman na to, it's also a bright pink. It's like a brighter version of red, but it is on the warmer side. I recommend you guys get both, kasi it depends on the type of color you want to achieve. If you want sort of like a kind of peachy na pink, go for this. If you want like a bright, like light pink, as in like yung parang galing sa computer na color, you should get a neon pink. Next, we have the typical primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. And then obviously, you're gonna need black. And then these are just some additional, pero sometimes I like applying gold shiny elements. So I have a silver, a silver and a gold poster paint. Dong-A din. In terms of where to buy poster paint, meron sa National Bookstore, meron sa Diovir, or obviously sa mga freshies ko dyan, obviously pag malapit kayo sa UST, punta kayo sa Pinoval and go to the 3Js. Alam niyo na yan. You've heard that from literally every Cfad ate and kuya. Okay, Jollies, Jomars, and Joyce. Usually, bumibili ako sa Jollies. Yeah. Next, let's tackle brushes. So, ito yung mga typical brushes that I use. A flat brush for bigger areas of paint, para syempre hindi ka mahirapan mag-paint. I have this brown brush and this one. This one I use for more mga maliliit na area of paint. And usually ginagamit ko to for typography. Kapag kailangan ko mag-line or mag-paint ng typography, ito ginagamit ko. It's a round brush because you can use the tip to be more precise sa typography mo. And then I use this for my typical blending and mga laying down of colors. Ito yung usually ginagamit ko na brush. This is my most used brush. I use this for rendering, putting down paint, etc. etc. And then, my secret weapon that for some reason many people ask for me a lot is a small brush, as in a very, very small brush. If I remember correctly, I know that this is a nail brush. Kasi, di ba, nail brushes, you know, they're very, very small and precise kasi they're used for nails. I have been using this for a millennia and I use it a whole lot, syempre sa typography and for little details. If you guys look here, example plate, look at these little tiny, like, details. Yung mga ganyan type of details. Those are the type of details that you cannot achieve with a big brush. So, I really recommend getting a small brush kasi if you want details like that. And example plate number 2, this plate, it required a lot of sparkles. So, ginamit ko talaga yung brush na maliit na to a whole lot to achieve that effect. Lastly, I don't need to mention this, pero lalagyan na ng tubig. Okay. Anything, but I use this kasi pwede mo siyang matakpan and I use it for at school kasi madali siyang dalhin. And a towel. You know, usually, I don't use tissues. I use mga ganitong towel kasi, well, it absorbs more water, mas mabilis siyang gamitin, can bring it anywhere. Yeah. Alright, let's start with the tips. So, as this video is being sped up, I'm going to be explaining my thought process, the things that I do to create my plates. So, the very first thing that I'm doing right now is, kita nyo, it's the Colgate box. And you have to be very understanding of the thing that you're going to draw so that you know what type of technique you're going to apply. So, this Colgate box, it's a graphic design. Diba? If you think about it, yung graphic design, it's pasted on top of a box. So, kung ganon, that means that yung mga elements na nandun, they are not soft. You know, may mga gradients and yung mga colors doon very opaque, you know, hindi sila transparent, hindi sila translucent, they're very opaque. So, ibig sabihin, yung i-apply mo na technique is that yung paint na nasa brush mo is dapat thick siya. Hindi siya yung super thick na hindi mo siya ma-spread in the painting. Hindi siya yung super thin na mukha siyang watercolor. It has to be a right amount of consistency. Of course, I recommend meron kayong parang separate na paper kung saan pwede kayong maglagay nung parang testing nyo nung color, kung okay ba yung ganitong pagka-spread ng paint. Pero yun nga, gagamitin nyo yung ganong technique kapag mga ganong mga painting na gusto mo ma-achieve yung look na, okay, this is a graphic design pasted on a box. Okay, now as you can see, ginagamit ko yung very, very small brush ko to create a typography nung box. Hindi ko minimix yung paint ko on the palette. All I do is that I get paint straight from the tube and then I put it there. Especially kung flat color lang siya, like white or red, to get that very vibrant and very poppy look. Okay, iniba ko na yung angle para mas kita nyo. And yeah, you can see, yung blue na to, hindi ko siya minix sa palette. It's just straight from the tube. I put it there. That's it, you know. And in terms of blending, kapag nagbablend ako, I put the paint down and then I use, yung brush ko, dinadry ko siya on my towel. And actually, mamaya makikita nyo yung sa palette ko and how I dry it kasi hindi ko na-record dito eh. Pero mamaya may side-by-side tayo nung palette ko and yung painting ko para makita niyo kung paano ako nag-work, like literally. And yun yung way ko ng pagbablending. Mamaya, pag nandun tayo sa part ng pinipaint ko yung mukha, mas makikita niyo kung paano ako mag-blend. Amazing, diba? Nandito na tayo sa blending nga. So, before I jump into any of the blending, I just want to say na when I do a portrait, I do the eyes first. I don't know, maybe you guys just wanted to know that. You know, wala. Okay, when you paint, you first need to establish your goal. So, my goal in this painting was to really capture yung painting style nung era or nung time na pinento. So, this was Girl with the Pearl Earring. So, it has a lot of chiaroscuro, you know, and it was done with oil paint. So, yun pa lang, we have an entirely different medium. I'm using poster paint and the medium that was used is oil paint. So, to achieve that, una, ginawa ko muna. And you can actually do this with any painting, doesn't matter kung may specific time period. Pero this is just like a general rule of thumb when you're painting portraits. You first establish darks and lights. So, una, gumamit muna ako ng pinakang light na color and majority ng mukha na is a light color. And then, tsaka ako nagpatong ng mga shadowy areas. I first, I observe the painting. I look to see saan ba yung shadow areas, saan yung light areas. And actually, as a person na malabo mata, it actually really helps. Tanggalin mo yung salamin mo and then squint your eyes even more, you can see ano yung general shape ng shadow and yung general shape ng light. Remember when I said na I'm gonna be putting a side by side? Guys, I'm so sorry, but there was some problems with the video and I'm not able to export it right now. But I did do a side by side of how I mix paint on my palette and then how I apply it on the canvas. But unfortunately, you guys are not gonna be seeing that. But anyway, on this part, I noticed na in the painting there was more like merong pagka bluish na shadow. So I added sort of this like bluish gray dun sa shadow areas. Medyo grayish siya because ayun nga, it's a it's a shadow. It's not like pure blue. Hindi siya yung parang neon na shadow, you know? And since, especially itong part na to, since maputi siya, yung shadows na napupunta medyo sa mga light areas or may mga areas na bluish sa areas na yun, they're gonna look like gray kasi like sobrang diluted nila. I don't know. Sana you guys get that. But basically on this part, I'm trying to see the colors on the painting and I'm trying to translate it here kasi the skin is not just one color, it's a whole different bunch of colors. May mga colors that are like bluish, more on the cool tone side, and colors that are more like on the warm tone side. If you guys remember in the part dun sa materials ko, I have like, diba, a cool tone pink and a warm tone pink, and sometimes the skin is like that. May mga parts that are more cool tone, may mga parts that are more warm tone. Napansin ko that sa part na medyo sa sa may jawline niya, may pagka-bluish na tones. The shadows are more warmer. As you guys can see, they're more brownish, reddish. And dun din sa shadow niya sa nose, meron din akong nakitang pagka-bluish na shadow. So I just tried to imitate that in the painting. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is not my best work. I have done different plays that are better than this, but it does show how I blend, how I mix colors, so I hope you guys learn something from this. Moving on sa headdress niya na part, I noticed in the painting na actually I really like the technique used in the painting of this. Actually, ayun yung mara-recommend ko sa inyo guys. When you are copying something, especially sa Cfad, I feel like you're gonna be copying a lot of paintings or things so that you can learn from them. This is how you learn from the masters basically. Napansin ko yung technique na ginamit niya dun sa headdress, it's more like blocky yung pagka lay down niya ng colors. It was sort of like the shadows is like one shape, the mid-tone is one shape, and then the highlights are like one shape. I tried to imitate that. Dito sa part na to, it looks a little iffy, but later I will fix it even more. And when I'm painting the cloth, I found it actually very easy compared to painting the skin. The skin has a lot of colors, but dito sa part na sa cloth, it was pretty easy. And if you're going to apply yung technique na sinabi ko about blocking down your highlights and then your shadows, and then meron ka mga midtones, it was easy sa part na to. Because napansin ko nga na very clear yung pagka-distinguish ng saang part yung shadow, saan part yung light. After ko i-paint yung headdress na to, I just applied that same technique dun sa damit niya. Again, just applying yung shadows, yung lights. Very clear naman yung pag-distinguish ng shadows and light. Actually, in this painting na ginawa ko, I think the problem was me. Kasi I think I chose the wrong kind of chiaroscuro na reference. So, hindi ganun ka stark yung contrast ng dark and light. So, that's why nahirapan ako i-imitate yun. Kasi yung goal ko was to imitate the chiaroscuro. Pero yung reference ko wala dun. I guess it's because I wanted to pick a reference that nakikita ko yung mga kulay, so that's why naging ganon. And at the same time, I didn't want it to be too dark. So, ayun, that's a me problem na, guys. As you can see dito sa bigger areas na to, I'm using my blocking na brush. Yan, just blocking out the paint, just blocking out the colors. And then, tsaka ako go in with my smaller na brush for the more refined details. Honestly, if anything else, this plate was sort of like a learning process for me. And I hope that ganun din yung maging view nyo in painting. I'm not a master in poster paint. I'm continually learning this material and I'm continuing to learn new things about it. And it really depends on the technique, the type of paper I'm using. Here I'm using illustration board and I can see now how, poster paint affects yung paper texture ng illustration board. And actually, dito sa video na to, I use the new technique. Pero I feel like this technique kasi is more efficient. Maybe in another video, I'll show you guys yung other technique na ginagamit ko for poster paint. So, stay tuned for that. Okay, going back to the box. Actually, inalisan ko yung box because I felt like there was something wrong with the box. So, inalisan ko muna siya. I just kind of walked away from it and I just decided to do the face first. I would say tip din yon. If there was a part of your painting na parang medyo na parang hindi mo alam what's wrong with it, look away from it for a while. Do not keep working on it because if you're not in the right headspace and you're not confident about the colors that you're gonna lay down, it's gonna look bad. Like 9 times out of 10, it's gonna look bad. So yeah, again, I'm just applying here the technique that I told you guys earlier. More blocky colors, vibrant colors, very opaque, etc., etc. Ayun, that's all the tips that I have to give, honestly. We're nearing to the end of the video, guys. I just want to say thank you for watching this video. And honestly, there are plenty of more poster paint and other things that I want to say in this video, but they're like hyperly specific and maybe I can tackle them in another video. And honestly, poster paint tips changes every time you make a plate. It changes every time you make a plate. There is no set standard when creating plates, and I cannot guarantee you na when you use these techniques, magiging maganda yung gawa mo. It's really a learning process, and I do believe that every time you do a piece of artwork, learn the material. Take it as an opportunity to learn your medium, learn what paper you're using, learn bakit mo ba to ginagamit, and what is your standing on the type of material you're using. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you gonna use it again? Test your materials, and yeah, yun na talaga yung pinaka-opinion ko in this video. I can tell you guys a lot of practical tips, but more on the, I guess, reflection side of things. Take it as an opportunity to learn. And, I hope you guys end up using poster paint because I really like it. If you guys have any more specific tips that you guys want to know na hindi ko na-tackle in this video, you guys can comment it. I'll try my best to reply to all of your comments and all of your questions, suggestions, etc. I want to make more content for you guys. If you guys have any video ideas that maybe you guys think I know, or maybe things that you guys want me to tackle, feel free to comment it down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Here comes my favorite part of the song. Hope y'all are ready for this. Ha-ha! Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Drink, swalla la la. Drink, swalla la la, swalla la la, swalla la la. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Drink, swalla la la.